की इच्छा हो जाए। अभी we just finish, हमने अभी प्रेयर खत्म की। Okay, let us begin with Acts. आज का शास्त्र भाग है Acts chapter 1. So sorry, Acts chapter 7, 1 to 30. 1 से 30 वचन. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Manoj, go ahead.
Okay. Today we are looking at Acts chapter 7. In this, immediately after Stephen was caught and brought to the Sanhedrin, Stephen addresses the Sanhedrin in what could be called the longest sermon in Acts. It is a selective recital of the Old Testament history, including sections of Abraham, Joseph, Moses, and Israel's rejection of God and his prophets. It could be called a spirited defense of Christianity. Stephen defends himself by turning the tables on his accusers by pointing out that it was they who were disobeying God because they rejected his appointed leaders. Now,
let me say that in Hindi. आज जो हम शास्त्र भाग देख रहे हैं वो एक बहुत लंबा वचन है, लंबा लेक्चर है, यानी मैसेज है जो बाइबल में लिखा गया है, जो है स्टीफन की गवाही, और ये पवित्र आत्मा से प्रेरित है, और ये यहाँ पे उसके खिलाफ जो गलत इल्जाम लगाए गए थे उसने खारिज किया अपने जवाब से, और फिर उसने जो यहूदियों की जो बैठक थी वहां पे, जो सैनेड्रिन उनका जो कोर्ट था, उसने उनके खिलाफ ही उन्होंने जो गलत काम किया उसके बारे में बताया। Yes, go ahead.
Who is the high priest here?
अच्छा, पहला सवाल ये है कि यहाँ पे हाई प्रीस्ट कौन है, सबसे मुख्य व्यक्ति कौन था इस कोर्ट में? किसी को एक मिनट ना, लेट मी, पीपल आर स्टिल कमिंग इन हियर। किसी को बताना है कि यहाँ पे सबसे मुख्य व्यक्ति
का नाम क्या है?
क्या है? महायाजक का नाम क्या है? इस प्रेरित का 7वां अध्याय में महायाजक का नाम क्या है? यहाँ पे तो लिखा नहीं है। अच्छा, so you cannot pull that for long.
Caiaphas.
हाँ,
high priest.
हाँ, क्या नाम क्या है? What was his name? Okay, go ahead.
Caiaphas.
Caiaphas. हाँ.
Okay, now when he told Stephen, are these things so? What did he mean by that?
क्या यहाँ पे जब वो बतलाता है, ये महायाजक काइफास बोलता है कि क्या ये बात यो ही है, यानी ये बात तुम्हारे बारे में सही है, तो ये किस बातों के बारे में बता रहा है? स्टीफन पूछ रहा है।
What was he accused of?
Of blasphemy.
Yeah.
Blasphemy, हाँ, यानी अभद्र शब्द बोलना परमेश्वर के खिलाफ, ये इल्जाम था। हाँ, ओके।
And
और क्या था? शायद इसके पहले अध्याय में हमको आंसर मिलेगा, 6ठे अध्याय के आखिरी वचन में।
he was accused of speaking blasphemous word against God, Moses, against the temple, and also the law. Additionally, they accused him of saying that Jesus would destroy both the temple as well as the custom, as well as the Jewish customs delivered by Moses.
हाँ, यानी स्टीफनस ने जो अभद्र शब्द कहे थे, नहीं, उसने मूसा के नियम के विरुद्ध, परमेश्वर के खिलाफ उसने बताया था, और गलत शब्द, और उसने ये भी बताया था कि इस मंदिर को प्रभु नाश कर देगा और मूसा के जो भी जो नियम दिए थे उसको भी नाश कर देगा प्रभु यीशु।
Now, to whom did Stephen address his response?
अच्छा,
To the Sanhedrin. To the Sanhedrin.
Yes.
करेक्ट।
How he called them brethren. I mean, the men of the Sanhedrin, the Jewish ruling council. And was his response? How would you call his response?
With respect, respectful.
No, I mean, what I mean to say is how, I mean, he was answering to a charge that they'd given. He was supposed to
now
try to acquit himself by claiming innocence.
तो यहाँ पे स्टीफेनस की क्या प्रतिक्रिया है जबकि उसके पास उसके ऊपर गलत इल्जाम लगाए गए हैं, लेकिन वो जिस तरह अपना जवाब शुरू करता है, वो जो शब्द यूज करता है भाइयों और पितरों, इससे हमको स्टीफन की प्रतिक्रिया से उसके दिल की, उसके व्यक्तिमत्व के बारे में हम क्या जानते हैं?
That he was respectful.
Yes, Sister Mamta, correct.
He was respectful and also he was not afraid.
He was respectful and he was not afraid. Yes.
Because he was not trying to save himself. I mean, the way he was, as we go through the chapter, we'll see that he was actually not trying to save himself. Usually, if we go to a court of law, we'll try to save ourselves, come out of it somehow. But here, he was not doing that. He was bravely facing them and telling them facts.
तो स्टीफेनस काफी मान सम्मान के साथ उनके साथ पेश आ रहा था, दूसरों को मान दे रहा था, लेकिन उसके ऊपर कोई डर नहीं था। वो बहुत धैर्य के साथ बात कर रहा
था। Where is Mesopotamia? And what does this mean about the ethnic origin of Abraham and the Jews of the Old Testament? Any idea?
South of Babylon.
I mean, I am talking about what is today. I mean,
आज मेसोपोटामिया क्या है? कौन सी जगह को मेसोपोटामिया कहते हैं?
You must have all learned about Mesopotamian civilization and all that.
Where Iraq and Kuwait and all are there.
Yeah, right. It traces back to Iraq, today's Iraq.
Iraq को Mesopotamia, Iraqi Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia means, I mean, the place between two rivers, no? So it is that two rivers are Euphrates and Tigris, the area between that area. That's Iraq. And so the ethnic origin of Abraham and the Jews of the Old Testament was, I mean, basically they were what we would call Iraqis today. Now, who appeared to Abraham?
अब्राहम के सामने कौन प्रकट हो गया?
God in the burning bush, no?
No, that was later.
Anyone?
It says the God of glory.
Yeah, right. The God of glory appeared to Abraham. Now, what do you think is the significance of this statement?
तो यहाँ पे ये जो जिस तरीके से अब्राहम की बात कर रहा है कि अब्राहम को परमेश्वर ने दर्शन दिए थे, इस ये जो वाक्य है, ये जो उसने वाक्य कहा है, इसका क्या महत्व है? ये जो शब्द उसने कहे, इसकी क्या खास बात है?
Maybe from Abraham, then David, and from that line Jesus came. Is that? I'm just thinking aloud.
No.
No.
Anyone else? Why is he taking the name of Abraham in the beginning? Abraham का नाम क्यों ले रहा है शुरू में?
Because the Jewish people also believed in Abraham, no? Believed about Abraham, that he was a friend of God. No?
They considered him to be their father.
Correct.
Our
So-
father Abraham.
Yeah.
Our father
The
Correct.
significance of the statement here is that Stephen is saying that God, the God of glory, appeared to Abraham even before he reached the promised land. See, the Jews had so much importance for the promised land, Israel, and the temple and all that. But what Stephen is trying to say is that that Abraham saw. Abraham, God, the God of glory appeared to Abraham in Iraq, in Mesopotamia, before he reached the promised land. And not only was the temple unnecessary for the revelation of God of glory, the promise itself, land itself, was not necessary.
Okay.
I mean, see, they were charging him that Stephen was speaking against the temple and all that. So you can connect that also.
Correct. ना उनका कहने का मतलब है ये हम जो यहूदी है, हमारी जो पहचान है, हम जो लोग मंदिर है, हमारे सारी जाति लोगों के खिलाफ ये बात कर रहा है. उनका मेन कहने का मतलब ये था. लेकिन वो अब्राहम को पिता करके बोलता है, इसका मतलब वो ये दर्शा रहा है कि मैं तुम लोग में से ही हूं. लेकिन इतना कहने के बाद वो बता रहा है कि यानी वो एक कॉमन बैकग्राउंड इस्टेब्लिश कर रहा है. और यहाँ पे फिर वो बता रहा है कि परमेश्वर तो जो कनान देश है, उससे बाहरी, यानी जहाँ पे मंदिर का स्थान है, जो उनकी पवित्र भूमि है जिसको इजराइल कहते, उसके बाहरी प्रभु ने अब्राहम को दर्शन दिए थे. तो आप जो अपनी जमीन को और मंदिर को जो खास महत्वता दे रहे हो, ऐसी कोई जरूरी बात नहीं. इतना बढ़ चढ़ के इसको मत बताओ. यानी उनकी एक गलत फहमी को, उनकी धार्मिकता के ऊपर वो अटैक कर रहा है उस तरीके से.
What did God instruct Abraham to do?
अच्छा, वचन हाँ, फिर हम देखेंगे. यहाँ पे ब्रदर मोजेस आए. वेलकम ब्रदर मोजेस. हम यहाँ पे सवाल जवाब पूछे. यू कैन आंसर एज इन व्हेन यू फील. Manoj, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, what did God instruct Abraham to do? After
परमेश्वर
God appeared to him, what did God tell him?
परमेश्वर ने अब्राहम को क्या आज्ञा दी?
परमेश्वर ने अब्राहम को कहा था कि अपने पिता और अपने कुटुंब को छोड़ के उस देश को जा, वो जगह को जा जो मैं तुझे दिखाऊंगा.
Correct, yeah. Now, did Abraham immediately obey the instruction that God gave him fully?
क्या अब्राहम ने तुरंत परमेश्वर ने जो कहा, क्या तुरंत उसने मान लिया और उसका आज्ञा पालन किया तुरंत? कोई बता सकता है?
ऐसा समय का पता तो नहीं चलता, पर जो आयत लिखी है उत्पत्ति में, उसे देख के लगता है कि अब्राहम ने इमीडिएट जो ओबीडियंस है वो की है.
I think he did. He went to southern Iraq. Like he did not go. No, I don't. He came out of the land, but he went and dwelt in Charan. And when his father was dead, he removed him to this land. So I don't think he immediately went.
You're right.
You are right, Sister Mamta. Impressive.
Actually, Abraham did not immediately go. I mean, God told him to leave his relatives and come to the land that I show you. Abraham went from there, not to the promised land. He went to Haran. And then he went to the promised land only after his father died. To Haran, he took his father along.
तो यहाँ पे हम देखते कि अब्राहम ने वाकई में उसने आज्ञा पालन नहीं की थी. वो दूसरे कई जगह पे जाके बस गया था.
Now, a question that we should ask ourselves is, if God asks us to move out of the comfort zone that we are in, from the place that we are, or if God tells us that you should leave your family and then go out to a new place, are we willing to do that?
तो यहाँ से एक हमको विचार करने के लिए सवाल है कि क्या जैसे अब्राहम को परमेश्वर ने उसकी राष्ट्र से, उस जगह से बुलाया बाहर, क्या हम भी, परमेश्वर अगर हमको बुलाएगा, क्या हम आज्ञा पालन करने के लिए तैयार है क्या? Yes.
Okay. Now, Abraham's partial obedience did not take God's promise away. Instead, it meant that the promise was hold till Abraham was ready to do what the Lord said. The fulfillment of the promise didn't progress until Abraham left Haran and his father behind and went to the place where God wanted him to go. What we learn from this is, see, Abraham became a giant of faith, but and even the father of all believing believers, but he did not start there. He was not always a man of giant faith, a giant of faith. He is an example of people who he is one who grew in faith and obedience.
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah. तो अब्राहम भी आज्ञा पालन में धीरे धीरे सीख रहा था, भले ही वो इजराइल का पिता था, इजराइल के लोग, लेकिन वो भी धीरे धीरे ट्रेनिंग में बढ़ रहा था, विश्वास में.
Similarly, we can also, even if our faith is not as strong, we also have hope that if we persevere with the help of the Holy Spirit, our faith also can grow and our obedience also can grow.
Correct. तो यहाँ से हम सीखते हैं कि अगर हम भी प्रभु के साथ चलते रहे तो प्रभु भी हमको जरूर अब्राहम की तरह चलाएगा और हमारे विश्वास को बढ़ाएगा.
Now, where is Haran? Any idea?
हरान ये जो जगह है ये कहाँ पे है? कोई बता सकता है?
It's in Turkey.
Yes, Mrs. Tora.
Turkey.
Turkey, yeah, right. It's in Turkey.
Wow. Correct.
Now, in verse 5.
वचन 5.
Yet he gave him no inheritance in it, not even a foot's length, but promised to give it to him as a possession and to his offspring after him, though he had no child. What is it that Stephen is referring to in Acts 7:75?
Abraham did, yeah.
Manoj, can you repeat the question?
See, yet he gave him no inheritance in it. Okay. So what is the it referred to?
The promised land.
Yes, the promised land.
यहाँ पे सवाल ये था कि और उसने कुछ मिरास वरन पर रखने पर की उसने जगह न दी. तो ये किस जगह की बात कर रहा है? यानी ये जो कनान देश है उसके बारे में बात कर रहा है. Yes.
Now, did Abraham inherit the land?
क्या अब्राहम को ये जमीन पुश्तैनी मिली थी? पुश्तैनी वजह से मिली थी? किसी को पता है? ये विश्वास से, ये आशीर्वाद वाली जमीन ये पुश्तैनी वजह से मिली थी क्या अब्राहम को? ये जमीन कोई बता सकता है?
No, it says he did not get any inheritance in it.
Now, Pastor, the question was, did Abraham get the land? Not as an inherit. God told him that he will give him this inheritance, but did he get the land?
क्या अब्राहम को ये जमीन परमेश्वर ने उसको प्रॉमिस की थी तुझको मिलेगी, लेकिन क्या अब्राहम को ये वाकई में मिली थी ये जमीन जिसके बारे में प्रभु ने उसको प्रॉमिस किया था? प्रभु बोला कि तू अपना राष्ट्र छोड़, मैं तुझे दूसरे जगह पे लेके जाऊंगा और वहां पे तुझे आशीष दूंगा, लेकिन वो जो जगह थी वो उसको मिली क्या? उसको अब्राहम को कोई बता सकता है क्या उसको हासिल हुई वो जगह जगह वाकई में? एनीवन?
Abraham actually,
The answer is there in the verse itself.
yeah, because it was not given to him, no, to his seed after him.
Yeah, it is saying that he could not, he did not even have a place to put his foot in.
Put in,
So he did not get it.
हाँ, यानी अब्राहम की संतान को वो मिले आगे चल उसकी पुश्तों को मिले, लेकिन उसको नहीं मिले.
He was always a pilgrim in that land. Now, Abraham was promised both the land and the descendants, but he had no outward proof of either. He could only trust God for the fulfillment of these things.
अब्राहम को जमीन और बहुत सारी संतान होने का परमेश्वर ने वादा किया था, लेकिन ये सब उसको नहीं मिल रहा था. उसको सिर्फ विश्वास उसके पास था नहीं, उसको सिर्फ विश्वास से सहारे चलना था.
What do you think is Stephen? What point do you think Stephen is trying to make here?
यहाँ पे स्टीफन को क्या बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है इस अब्राहम का ये बारे में ये कह के?
That he was a man of faith.
Yeah, something more.
हाँ, जरूर वो विश्वास का बंदा था, विश्वास रखने वाला, लेकिन और क्या पता चलता है?
Why is Stephen bringing him here with this point? That is.
हाँ, अब्राहम को इस कदर वो क्यों पेश कर रहा है कि वो बाहर के देश में ही रहा था, यहाँ पे पहुंचा ही नहीं था, ये क्यों बता रहा था?
Because Abraham found favor in God's eyes.
No, this basically Stephen is emphasizing a relationship with God on the basis of faith, not on outward evidence like a temple or the structure of institutional religion or its customs. No, basically just pure faith. No, there is no temple to show. But the Jewish leadership was so attached to the temple, they made the temple an idol, a sort of idol for themselves.
करेक्ट. मंदिर और उसकी जो व्यवस्था थी उसको लेके यहूदियों ने उसकी यानी मानो कि उसकी मूर्ति बनाई थी, दिन रात उसकी पूजा, उसके बारे में बात करना. लेकिन अब्राहम यहाँ पे पहुंचा ही नहीं था इस जमीन पे, ये तुम्हारा मंदिर नहीं था वहां पे. तो ये सब कह के ये कह रहा कि अब्राहम विश्वास से वो चला था. ये मंदिर, ये जगह, ये जो धार्मिकता है भारी, किसके वजह से नहीं, जिसको यहूदी बहुत ज्यादा महत्व देते.
Don't we also do? I mean, a point to think about it is like we also many a time give importance to physical church buildings.
क्या हम भी क्यों नहीं, हम भी ऐसे बहुत बार करते ना, किसी चर्च जैसी जगह को, बिल्डिंग को हम इस कदर धार्मिकता से उसको श्रद्धा देते, उसको प्यार देते, यानी कि वही सब कुछ है, वो पवित्र मंदिर है और उसको भी हम धर्म का स्थान बनाते, जबकि परमेश्वर हर जगह पे है.
Well, many people go to certain churches thinking that their wishes will be fulfilled if you go to those churches or a particular place, some holy place.
क्या कोई एग्जाम्पल दे सकता है ऐसी कोई धार्मिक स्थान का, क्रिश्चियन धार्मिक स्थान का, जहाँ पे लोगों को लगता है
people used to go Israel, Jerusalem.
हाँ, Israel
Mahim
tourism.
Church also.
Israel.
People go to Mahim Church, no?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Mahim Church.
Yeah, I have especially in the Roman Catholic Church, you see so many beautiful churches. I mean, I've seen so many beautiful churches. Even this time when I saw in Spain, the Sagrada Familia. It was really, I mean, the architecture and all that was really great. But there is no religion. I mean, there is no God is not there. It has become a museum.
करेक्ट करेक्ट. यानी आज भी ऐसे बहुत सारे चर्चेस है जो बहुत सुंदर है, लेकिन वो बात वहां पे प्रभु नहीं बसता. ये ट्रेजेडी है ऐसी जगहों.
Now, as they go forward, now this, what do you call, Stephen is saying that the children of Abraham would go to a foreign land where they will be held in bondage. Which foreign land was Stephen referring to?
यहाँ पे स्टीफन भविष्यवाणी बता रहा है कि बाइबल की भविष्यवाणी कि इजराइल लोग को बंदी बना के दूसरे देश लेके जाएंगे, परदेश लेके. तो ये कौन सा प्रदेश है?
Egypt.
इजिप्ट आंसर्स.
Yeah. Egypt, where Abraham's descendants would be oppressed as slaves for 400 years before God uses Moses to deliver them.
Okay, we are on 9:30 now.
I guess we'll. What does God tell Abraham about the bondage of his descendants and his deliverance?
परमेश्वर अब्राहम को उस बंदीवास के बारे में और फिर उसकी जो आगे की पुश्ते के बारे में क्या बताया?
That he'll bring them out of Egypt.
Yes. Stephen spoke of God's assurance to Abraham that even after a long exile, his descendants would come back to Canaan and worship God in this place.
हाँ, जरूर परमेश्वर ने ऐसा कहा था कि भले ही वो वहां पे बंदी हो गए, लेकिन मैं उनको वहां से छुड़ाऊंगा और फिर वो कनान आके प्रभु की स्तुति करेंगे, मेरी स्तुति करेंगे.
And God signed a covenant. What was the sign of the covenant?
और प्रभु ने उनके साथ एक कवेनेंट वाचा बनाई, एक वाचा बनाई थी. तो वो वाचा का किस तरह बनाई थी, क्या चिन्ह था?
Circumcision.
अब्राहम का खतना किया जाना.
Circumcision.
Okay, correct. Brother Moses answered, no?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yes.
Now, who are the 12 patriarchs referred to in Acts chapter 7 verse 8?
ये 12 जो कुलपति थे, ये कौन थे? 12 यानी इजराइल के बड़े जो लीडर थे इतिहास में, वो कौन थे? 12 कुलपतियों के बारे में बात की, कौन है? वचन 9 में.
Jacob's
के
children.
12 बेटे.
Jacob's children.
Yes. Jacob's 12 sons who founded the 12 tribes of Israel. Can anybody name them?
हाँ, अभी इसका क्या नाम बता सकते हैं? 11 जनों का ट्राई कीजिए.
मैं करती हूँ. रुबेन, शिमोन, लेवी, यहूदा, इस्साकार, दान, नफ्ताली, गाद, आशेर. बस इतना ही है.
एक्सीलेंट है.
Yeah.
मनासे.
Joseph, Benjamin.
Yeah.
I don't know if she said Simeon.
Judah.
Judah.
Great.
Okay. Are these the only two? Are these 12 the only patriarchs?
क्या ये 12 जन थे? क्या यही इजराइल के कुलपति थे या इसके अलावा भी कोई नाम था? क्या आपने जो नाम बताए वही थे या इसके अलावा भी कुछ नाम थे और इन 12 में से? अरे, no one knows. Such a famous story. One name was replaced with 2.
This 12 patriarchs and this thing also, no? Joseph and the younger brother, is it?
No.
Close.
Close, but see the whole.
Joseph.
I mean, Abraham is the father, so he is the original patriarch.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
Isaac is there, Jacob is there.
Mhm.
Ah.
So, are you
And
not?
Jacob begat 12 patriarchs. And Jacob begat the 12 patriarchs. It is, you know?
No, Jacob's sons were the 12 patriarchs,
Patriarch, even he is a patriarch. They were also
and Joseph's name was replaced with Ephraim and Manasseh.
Manasseh.
Acha.
That is how his sons got that place.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now, what kind of troubles? From what kind of troubles did God deliver Joseph? From Jacob.
किस मुसीबतों से परमेश्वर ने यूसुफ को बचाया था? कोई बता सकता है किस मुसीबत से, क्या-क्या मुसीबतों से यूसुफ को बचाया परमेश्वर?
The
Joseph-
Potiphar's wife made false accusation.
Yes.
Yes.
Out of anything.
Anything
Then-
else?
उसके भाइयों ने जब उसे गड्ढे में डाल दिया था तो
हाँ,
परमेश्वर ने उसे वहां
भेज
से-
दिया
Very
था.
good.
Yes.
और क्या था? जेल में था ना वो?
Because of Potiphar's wife, he was in jail, no?
हाँ. Okay.
Even there also, when he was supposed to get released, but
He did.
someone he helped did not
हाँ.
forgot
The-
about him once.
The wine keeper,
cupbearer forgot.
wine maker,
Wine
he
bearer,
did not.
wine
So that was also another reason, because he kept being there for long.
He forgot. Then
Yeah.
But you will see that God prospered him everywhere. Even when he was sold, even in Potiphar's place also, he rose in the ranks. In jail also, he was. God prospered him.
लेकिन हर जगह पे प्रभु ने उसको उन्नति दी, वो आगे बढ़ा, और ये हम देखते हैं कि योसेफ जेल में भी था, तभी भी उसको प्रगति हुई.
Why did Pharaoh make Joseph governor over Egypt?
फारो ने योसेफ को गवर्नर की स्थान कैसे क्यों दिया?
Because of his wisdom.
Because of his wisdom.
Yes, but then
Joseph
the real reason, I mean, the incident. that-
Joseph translated the dream,
interpreted the dreams and vision.
interpreted his dreams, that fat calf and thin calf, no? Cow.
Yeah. He foretold Egypt's forthcoming famine.
Famine.
Yeah. And gave him an idea how to manage it.
Manage it.
Did Joseph's interpretation prove true?
क्या योसेफ ने जो सपने का एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया, क्या वो सही निकला?
Yes, it was.
हाँ, it
Yes.
was true.
Can we see God working through the famine? How?
क्या हम परमेश्वर का हाथ देखते हैं? क्या परमेश्वर का कार्य देखते हैं क्या उस भूखमरी में भी?
Yes, definitely that because of the famine, his brothers came to Egypt. That was a way
Yes.
God made for them.
Yes. That is where one family grew into a nation. Now, I think it is time to think of many times that when we go through troubles and problems, I mean, many of them may be of our own making, but sometimes when some troubles come, maybe it is God working.
तो हमारा रवैया कैसे होता है जब दुखों का बादल हमारे ऊपर गिरता है या हमारी परिस्थिति बदलती है? तो क्या हम उस समय पहचान पाते हैं क्या इसमें भी परमेश्वर का कोई खास उद्देश्य होगा? इसके बारे में सोचिए, हमारा एटीट्यूड क्या होता है डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स में?
I mean, Joseph could have been bitter. he could have been cursing God or everyone, but then he didn't do that.
योसेफ के साथ इतनी बार वो
अन्याय
उसके
हुआ।
साथ अन्याय हुआ, लेकिन वो अपने मन को खट्टा कर सकता था, वो प्रभु को के खिलाफ वो एक कड़वा आदमी बन सकता था, लेकिन उसने ऐसा नहीं किया.
Okay, now because of the famine, who were the fathers that Jacob sent to Egypt first?
उस फैमिन के वक्त कौन था जिसको याकूब ने पहले मिस्र देश भेजा? सबसे पहले याकूब ने किसको भेजा उस भुखमरी के वक्त? खाने के लिए, धान्य मिलने के लिए किसको भेजा?
Anybody?
बताइए. Mrs. Jacob, why are you quiet? Hello. Yes, anyone? Mrs. Marcus, Ramesh is also there. Okay, man. Sister Mary James, welcome. Anyone? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Jacob sent his sons except Benjamin. I mean, Joseph was already there in Egypt, so except Benjamin, the rest of the sons went.
Correct.
Okay, how many people went to Egypt? I mean, after everybody they came to know that Joseph was a brother and all that, when everybody shifted to Egypt, how many people came to Egypt?
जब वो मिलाप हो गया बाप भाइयों में और योसेफ में, तो उसके बाद कितने लोग मिस्र देश चले गए रहने के लिए, इजिप्ट चले गए बसने के लिए?
30,015.
30,000, 30,000.
30,015 souls.
15. Oh, is there a number? Okay.
Verse 14.
Verse 14.
Okay. 75. Yes.
75. But no, if you go through Genesis, it shows 70. Genesis, Exodus, and even Deuteronomy says 70 people. What is the discrepancy here?
No, that is because it was written from a different timeline. That's what. 2000 साल बाद लिखे थे, and they will probably a number में discrepancy होना was an आम बात in Jewish history. Numbers में, but their main fact storyline.
Even the counting, I mean, 75 people when I think Jacob was not counted in that, I guess, in the 70.
Yeah,
Jacob and his children.
They may have counted the key figures also. Yeah. Go ahead.
And what do you think was the point that Stephen was driving home with the history of Joseph?
Yosef
What point was he trying to make?
हाँ, योसेफ का ये कहानी बता के स्टीफनस क्या कहने की कोशिश कर रहा था उन यहूदियों को? उस समय क्या बतलाने की कोशिश कर रहा था उस धर्मी लोगों को जो उसके खिलाफ साजिश कर रहे थे? Anyone? Mrs. Jacob?
Repeat the question. God always be with us.
No, what was the point? The history of Joseph, what they were saying. What point did Stephen want to make?
योसेफ की कहानी बताकर स्टीफनस क्या बतलाने की कोशिश कर रहा था, क्या कहने की कोशिश कर रहा उस कहानी के द्वारा? क्या पॉइंट वो कोशिश कर रहा था?
Jacob
With faith, no,
made one point, yes, that is also there. And what else?
God fulfilling his promise given to Abraham.
God fulfilling his promise
Given to Abraham.
Well, not exactly. You see, here he is in a court. He is answering. So he has some point to make.
We have to face any troubles. Means we are allowed to them rule us.
Okay, anybody else?
That
और कोई है बताने के लिए? कोशिश कीजिए, ये कहानी उसने क्यों बताई?
the beginning,
बताएंगे?
like how Manoj brother said that try to show that you don't need the temple, but if you have faith, then
यानी मंदिर की जरूरत नहीं है, विश्वास के द्वारा हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. ओके ओके मनोज, आंसर.
See, the story of Joseph shows how the patriarchs were blessed by the brother they rejected. They rejected Joseph. They sold him to slavery. But
Correct,
in the
correct.
end, he was the one who
Bless them.
blessed them.
तो यहाँ पे बता रहे हैं कि जिस भाई को तुमने झिटकारा, जिसको तुमने दूर किया, उसी के वजह से तुम बच गए, इसी वजह से तुमको आशीष मिला.
And Joseph was the leader chosen by God. So Israel rejected him. So he's showing that the pattern runs through the entire OT history, that Israel kept on rejecting whom God kept on rejecting God's chosen leaders.
तो यहाँ पे वो एक कॉमन उनकी पुरानी आदत बता रहा है, उनकी पुश्तैनी आदत बता रहा है कि पहले भी तुम लोग ने, परमेश्वर ने जिसको चुना, योसेफ को तुमने दूर किया, उसको रिजेक्ट किया, और ठीक उसी तरह आज भी तुम वही कर रहे हो.
Any parallels that we can notice here?
किसके साथ कंपेयर कर रहा है वो? किसके साथ? अभी आज वो किसको रिजेक्ट कर रहे थे?
यीशु मसीह को.
क्या बात है, सही.
Yeah, Jesus was rejected by the Israelites. Once again,
Yes.
God's chosen. Okay, like Mrs. Jacob said, God was with him. So again, Stephen is emphasizing that the spiritual presence of God was always with him. He did not need to go to a temple to be close to God. There was no temple, but God was with him. There was no temple, but God was with him all the time.
करेक्ट करेक्ट. प्रभु उसके साथ था हमेशा, भले ही मंदिर में नहीं था, लेकिन वो प्रभु उसके साथ था हमेशा. यस.
What is Stephen referring to in Acts chapter 7 verse 16?
स्टीफनस वचन छठे वचन में किस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहा है? छठा वचन में 6 और 16 सॉरी 16वें वचन में स्टीफनस किस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहा है?
जब वो मिस्र की गुलामी से बाहर निकल आए और याकूब की जो अस्थियां थी उसको लेकर के वो आ रहे.
The remains of Joseph, she said.
Yeah. And where they were buried?
और वो कहाँ पे उसको गाड़ा गया था?
Abraham, which one brought from Hamor?
Shechem.
Shechem, yeah.
In Shechem. Shechem, that place is the Shechem.
Okay, who bought the place where the bones were buried? Abraham or Jacob?
Abraham.
वो गाड़ने की जगह किसने खरीदी थी?
अब्राहम ने.
अब्राहम ने पहले से ही खरीद के रखी.
Okay, Acts chapter 7 verse 16 says, Abraham bought for a sum of money from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem. Now note that Shechem was both the name of a person as well as the name of a place. And while Joshua 24:32 says they buried at Shechem, a plot of ground which Jacob had bought from the sons of Hamor. Now which is right?
तो बाइबल में देखिए यहाँ पे शेकम, गौर करने वाली बात है, शेकम एक जगह का भी नाम है और व्यक्ति का भी नाम है सोलम। और पुराने नियम में ये लिखा है कि ये जो जगह खरीदी थी ये याकूब ने खरीदी थी, अब्राम ने नहीं। तो सही क्या है, अब्राम ने खरीदा या याकूब ने खरीदा?
Can you please repeat the reference, sir, Manoj sir? Joshua.
7:16 in Acts chapter 7:16, it says that Abraham bought the money. Abraham bought the tomb. But in Joshua 24:32, it says Jacob had bought the land. Jacob had bought the plot of ground. So, which one is right? Did Abraham buy or did Jacob buy?
Means maybe they counted Abraham is the Jacob is the Abraham from Abraham only, no? That's why.
क्योंकि
Jacob, it
अब्राहम
could
के
be correct.
वंश
It would be right. It maybe Stephen was referring to the name of Abraham to refer all of Abraham's descendants also. Yes. And another explanation could be that, you know, in Acts chapter 7:16 it says tomb, while in Joshua it states plot of ground. So maybe Abraham had bought a plot of ground, bought a plot nearby, and Jacob might have bought a tomb there. Or it could also be that, you know, Abraham had bought the same plot of land, but later Jacob had to repurchase it, just like Isaac had to renegotiate the rights to a well that Abraham had earlier bought in Beersheba.
तो हो सकता है कि अब्राहम ने ये पहला खरीदा था, लेकिन बाद में याकूब को फिर से खरीदना पड़ा, या फिर अब्राहम ने एक जमीन ली थी लेकिन याकूब ने गाड़ने के लिए जगह ली थी। ऐसे अलग हो सकते हैं चीजें।
Okay, now back to the thing. Why did the king the Egyptian king deal treacherously with the Hebrews in Egypt?
मिस्र के राजा ने गलत व्यवहार क्यों किया था इब्री लोगों से, यहूदियों से? क्यों?
The king changed. Who don't know that people became.
It was 400 years, so the king obviously changed, but still, why? What was the reason why?
This new king did not know Joseph.
Their growth was very high.
Somebody said the new king did not know about Joseph.
Yeah. Someone said, who said that? Who did not know Joseph?
Mamta.
Yeah, great. Good.
Yeah, it's true. The king did not know about Joseph and what he did. Also, the Hebrew population had gone so fast that they outnumbered the Egyptians. And the Pharaoh began to fear that in case of there might be an uprising, a revolution, or if Egypt was attacked by another country, then these people might not support Egypt and there would be a danger being inside the country.
तो यहाँ पे ऐसा हो गया था कि बहुत सारे इब्री लोग बहुत बढ़ गए थे संख्या में, तो उसके वजह से उनको डर लगने लगा कि ये इतने सारे बढ़ गए, ये हमारे देश पे कब्जा कर ले। Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nowadays Muslims increased. That's why Hindus are fearing.
No, it is not that they are increasing. There is there is a false rumor that is being spread. It is not that they are actually.
The percentages have not drastically changed over the.
Yeah, there are correct. Yes, they are just spreading stories. Yes.
Okay. How did the king make the Hebrews expose their babies so that they might not leave?
How did the king
make the Hebrews expose their babies? That's what it is written.
Yeah. उस राजा ने उनके बच्चों को के साथ क्या किया ना? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
क्या इब्रियों के बच्चों के साथ क्या किया? But anyway, as
the male newborns.
हाँ,
The male newborn children were killed.
हाँ, क्या किया उनके साथ?
He ordered
Yeah.
them to be killed.
He ordered whom? Whom did he order?
किसको ऑर्डर किया उसने इनको मारने के लिए, बच्चों को? हाँ, फरो ने किसको ऑर्डर किया?
जो इब्री धाइयां थी उनको ऑर्डर किया था।
हाँ, मिडवाइव्स।
Midwives. Yes, yes.
करेक्ट करेक्ट। क्या बात है सिस्टर अरुणा, एक्चुअली।
But did they obey that order?
क्या उन्होंने उस
They saved
आज्ञा
the
का-
child.
हाँ,
उन्होंने बच्चों को बचाया।
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
They did not follow the king's commandment there.
Hmm.
Then when that did not work, he commanded the newborn boys to be thrown into the river. Now here again is one question that I think we should think about, like the Hebrew midwives, they went against the orders of the king. Would we have the courage to do something, to go against the government or do something against rules which are against what God has taught us to do?
तो क्या हम भी उन औरतों की तरह, दाइयों की तरह, क्या हमारे अंदर भी ताकत है, हमारे अंदर भी, कि जो अगर देश की सरकार या देश के सबसे बड़े राजा ने बोला कि ये करना है, लेकिन अगर हमारे प्रभु के खिलाफ करने के लिए बोल रहे, लेकिन क्या हम भी उस तरह खड़े हो सकते हैं क्या? I think you should end it with this because we can have some time for discussion now. If you are.
Okay, we have just reached, I think, 19.
Yeah. So if you can close now, otherwise it will then.
Okay, it is already 10, I guess. Yeah.
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 So yes, I think as इसमें से आज की जो stories में से हम क्या सीखते हैं, कुछ खास बात सीखते हैं क्या? Any kind of कुछ parallel भी दिखता है क्या हमको? यानी जो